to see you.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Thank you for coming. Oh, well, thank you very much.
You said hello to my lady.
Yes, I already.
Everything you do, because your leadership, your commitment is
Thank you so much, and thanks for organizing this. Звичайно, буквально означає стабілізацію фронту. Артилерія 155-й калібр, далекобійна.
It's critical time for Ukraine because you have just launched the counteroffensive. You are making gains.
good to see you.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy met NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg in Kyiv on Monday. During his visit, Stoltenberg said NATO countries had failed to deliver in good time what they promised to Ukraine, as Russia rushes to exploit its battlefield advantages before Kyiv's depleted forces get more Western military supplies in the war that has lasted more than 2 years.
NATO allies have not delivered what they promised. The United States spent months not agreeing a package for Ukraine, and European allies have not delivered the amount of ammunition they promised. And this has had serious consequences on the battlefield.
Ukraine and its Western partners are in a race against the clock to deploy critical new military aid that can help check the recent slow and costly but steady Russian advance across eastern areas, as well as thwart drone and missile attacks. Zelenskyy said new Western supplies have started arriving, but slowly.
Some deliveries have already been done. I won't tell more. I'll only say that we haven't gotten all we need to equip our brigades. As far as the security agreements and assurances are concerned, they were very timely and important at the time that we had been waiting for the decision in U.S. You know that air defense costs a lot, and the systems or replaceables that were delivered to Ukraine in the past several months were mentioned in some of those security agreements we've made.
Though the 1,000-kilometre, 600-mile front line has shifted little since early in the war, the Kremlin's forces have in recent weeks edged forward, especially in the Donetsk region, by sheer weight of numbers and massive firepower used to bludgeon defensive positions. Outgunned, Ukraine's troops have struggled to fend off Russian advances on the battlefield. They were recently compelled to make a tactical retreat from 3 villages in the east, where the Kremlin's forces have been making incremental gains, Ukraine's army chief said Sunday. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed Monday its forces had also taken the village of Semenivka.
The lack of ammunition has enabled the Russians to push forward along the front line. Lack of air defense has made it possible for more Russian missiles to hit their targets. And lack of deep strike capabilities has made it possible for the Russians to concentrate more forces.
Kyiv's Western partners have repeatedly vowed to stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes. But vital US military help was held up for 6 months by political differences in Washington, and Europe's military hardware production has not kept up with demand. Now, Ukraine and its Western partners are racing to deploy critical new military aid that can help check the slow and costly but steady Russian advance across eastern areas, as well as thwart drone and missile attacks. Zelenskyy said new Western supplies have started arriving, but slowly. This process must be speeded up, he said at the news conference with Stoltenberg.
The Russian army is trying to exploit the situation. We are waiting for the deliveries from our partners, the United States, in the first place. Artillery, 155 millimeters, long-range weapons, and anti-air defense Patriot in the first place. Something that our partners have in their possession and something that needs to be in Ukraine to defeat the Russian terrorist ambition.
NATO chief also praised President Zelenskyy's leadership and the bravery of the Ukrainian forces and people, and promised that Ukraine will soon get NATO membership, as it is Kyiv's rightful place.
Because your leadership,
Ukraine's rightful place is in NATO. Ukraine will become a member of NATO. The work we are undertaking now puts you on an irreversible path towards NATO membership. So that when the time is right, Ukraine can become a NATO member straight away.
Meanwhile, Russia continues to launch missiles, drones and bombs at cities across Ukraine. At least 4 people were killed and 27 injured in a Russian missile strike on residential buildings and civil infrastructure in the southern Ukrainian port city of Odessa on Monday, Regional Governor Ola Kuiper said on the Telegram messaging site. A turreted Gothic-style building known locally as the Harry Potter Castle was seen in flames after the strike. Ukrainian officials say Russia is assembling forces for a major summer offensive, even if its troops are making only incremental gains at the moment. Russian forces remain unlikely to achieve a deeper, operationally significant penetration in the area in the near term, the Institute for the Study of War said in an assessment Sunday. Even so, the Kremlin's forces are closing in on the strategically important hilltop town of Chasiv Yar, whose capture would be an important step forward into the Donetsk region. The situation on the ground in Chasiv Yar remains tense as Russian forces continue to barrage Ukrainian troops with ammunition. Unverified videos circulating on social media depict disturbing visuals of abandoned corpses of Ukrainian soldiers left behind by retreating troops. Intense fighting in the outskirts of Chasiv Yar has led to significant casualties for the Ukrainian side, with visuals corroborating the grim reality of the situation.